Hey, we're back again. Uh, just trying to get do about 3 or 4 videos probably today. Then I'll get them all uploaded in the next day or so. Um, Another question I had is, like, so I'm gonna do a pricing video probably next, but I had this on my mind. We've got a little model. Yay! Anyways, contamination. Everybody wonder where it comes from, what it is. You'll find some technical terms and everything else for a lot of things. But basically, contamination stuff that gets in the paint, everything you'll see is fallout or ferrous materials and everything. It's basically, it's from driving them, air pressure, wind, like I said, brake dust. There's a lot of variables in it, but there's always, the general area that you're going to have contamination. It's like you're always going to get it all over the car, but your front's always going to get anything from the air pressure and wind. Stuff blowing down the road. I mean, like I said, you got to think air pressure with materials in it at a high speed or speeds, it's going to embed itself. That's why we use coatings and special waxes and everything else to keep it from doing that, which I kind of shortly went over in the last video. But quick contamination video, you're always going to have contamination down the sides. What you're doing is when you hit your brakes are shedding off at a certain rate. Pad wear, the rotor itself. So you can imagine small, lightly charged air pressure blowing down the side. You're going to get stuff through there. You're going to get stuff off in other vehicles. And like I said, you're going to get it across the vehicles. It just depends on the areas and what you're doing and weather. Like I said, it's everything from metals to dust, sand, glass. There's all kinds of stuff in paint. It's from the roads, it's from other vehicles, and it depends on the hardness of your paint. Sometimes you get less, sometimes don't. There's so many variables in getting contaminants all over it. So you'll get it down the sides mainly. Another thing I always try to explain to people, swirl effect or whatever you want to call it, or air pressure zones or anything like that, most vehicles create around the back of a vehicle. And as the air flows across, you basically create an air pressure zone in the rear. So you'll see a lot of contaminants normally during the rear of a vehicle. That's why we use, before we do a coating or anything like that, clay bar. That helps pull them out of the paint. Another video later on, I'll go over nanoskins, DA pad, and traditional clay bar, which I still mainly use. But like I said, contaminants come from about everywhere. It can be overspray, people call it contaminant. Like I said, dirt, sand, glass, and like I said, you'll always get something from your brakes over time eventually. And there's, like I said, we also use what we call fallout remover, which is a ferrous material remover, and it's a spray on, let set, and that will turn pink as it finds the irons and steels and everything else from the padding and what's been down the road. Can you ever stop it? Not really, but that's why we ceramic or crystalline coating and all them, they help prevent that. Will it still get into the coating? Yeah, sometimes, but less chance of it, more resistance due to the coatings. But like I said, easing contamination is always the front from being behind somebody, people kicking it up off their wheels. The wind, the air pressure will push it into the front and over the top. Like I said, down the sides is your main area too. Like I said, when you're hitting those brakes, you're shedding off material, pad wear, rotor wear. Then your wheels and your tires are kicking up dust and debris all over too. So like I said, with the pressure zone and wind and everything else, that's going to embed over time. I don't know. I don't know, it was weird. I had a connect problem with GoPro. But like I said, if you're kicking up, everything's coming down the sides. And like I said, you're getting stuff thrown off other vehicles, wheels and tires, and everything through the air, bugs, which is another good reason for the coating. The coating will help resist bugs and amazingly, just to be able to wipe them off. The bugs have acidity in them, which will eat the paint. Um, but like I said, everybody always realizes you'll feel over time your vehicle getting rough and everything. That's contaminants and everything getting from the from the air pressure and wind and driving them. It's never going to get rid of it. Especially, like I said, you always see some of the cars that create a massive, like I said, around the area you'll create a massive swirl effect. And that will just create a pressure zone that will suck into the paint, and that will create debris and everything else into contaminants in the paint. Like I said, the easiest way to removal is clay bar. Like I said, when we do a coating itself, we use both. We use a fallout remover that's on the wheels and tires, or not tires, but wheels, and we spray the whole vehicle down with it. And you can literally just see it start bleeding pink, which is, like I said, it's found in various material. And then we also, when we're done two-step washing the vehicle, we will use a clay bar on it still. Like I said, we still use traditional clay bars. I'll go over that in another video. But like I said, just quick containment, what happens where debris and contaminants come from. Like I said, it's variable reasons. Like I said, pressure zone, brakes, bleeding off. You're going to get partial, your tires are wearing, everything's wearing over time. And like I said, from the air pressure zones and the swirl effects and all the fun stuff according to all this nice little science that happens. But like I said, you're going to have less on top as normal. Like I said, sometimes you won't, depending on the structure of the vehicle and the way you want to design. Most smaller cars and sports cars and everything else will be down the sides and around the back. Like I said, you're always going to get kickoff from other vehicles on the front. But like I said, nothing hard to take care of. Just quick, why your paint will feel rough over time. You're getting wear, you're getting ridges, you're getting material and compounds inside of the paint itself. That's why we clay bar them and everything before we coat them. Plus, like I said, when you're smoothing out paint, that will give more reflection. You have to pull the contaminants out and smooth the paint out, which I'll go into another video. But just quick, where you get contaminants from. Questions, comments, don't be afraid to ask. Call me. If y'all need anything, let me know.